I am kind of looking forward to seeing some friends on Sunday, might be good. I think it's a friend's birthday. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Some old friend, the guys I used to hang out with when I was like fucking 18 or something. And all of these guys, I haven't seen them in a long time. We still kind of keep in touch via the Instagrams and shit and the socials. A couple of texts here and there. One of the guys in particular invited me to his private show, private view, but I didn't end up going, so I kind of regretted that. So it's a good way to kind of make up for that time. But it'd be nice to see them, man, because fond memories of that group. Fond memories with that group. I went with that was my first lads holiday, probably my first and only one. No, to be fair, I've been on others. Yeah, I've been on a couple of others, but that was my first lads holiday that I'd been to. Really, 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 really good, man. Like going to New York at that age, like what I think the age ranges in that group are between like 18 and 22 probably, right? So those were all our first big holidays, our first prolonged time maybe away from home, especially for myself, right? Growing up in a very traditional African Christian household, I didn't really do sleepovers, right? I wasn't allowed to do sleepovers. No one was sleeping over my house for sure. So yeah, going to New York that time was so special, man. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I paid for that trip to New York with a combination of like resale money, a combination of like a student loan, and maybe an overdraft or something wild, like something crazy, like 2 bits of debt and 1 profit. I think that's exactly what I went to New York. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, thinking back to then, I think I might have went to New York with like, I think for that week that we went, or that, I think it was like 8 days, 9 days, I'm pretty sure I had like £300 to my name as in spending money, which might have been at that time probably $500. And that was, I felt like I was balling. Bro. I'm not even sure how long $500 would stretch you now in New York. I don't think it'll probably get you that far, but back then, $500, that would go so far, especially because we were staying in this hostel, right? I'm not sure if they still exist. We stayed in this hostel called Genesis Hostel. It was like this it was super run down, but it was really cheap. Genesis Hostel, it was like this one building, obviously with loads of floors, kind of like, one of those American New York buildings where it's got the stoops that you walk up, and it's got all these different floors, and that's where all the rooms are. The reception's kind of like in the living room where you get your key, and then every room has like 4 beds that you can kind of sleep in and shit. And yeah, this place was horrendous. Like the walls were paper thin. It was in a really sketchy area. But one of the good things about it being in a sketchy area, that's where all the good food was. There was loads of good food. In that area, there's also loads of kids selling weed and shit. So all of my friends who were bang on smoke, I wasn't really smoking back then. I wasn't really on fucking drugs or anything, or any drinks. I think I was just drinking beer. Yeah, that was back. Do you remember back in the day when you used to get fucking lit off just drinking beers? Do you remember that? Oh, I miss those days, man. Do you remember those days where you could get lit? You could have a great time just being off the booze. Do you remember that? Do you remember how that felt? Where you could just be litty off the fucking booze, a couple of Heinekens, and you're fucking, oi, you're going crazy nowadays, bro. Like, if there's no packet, there's no party. It's fucking horrendous, man. But yeah, I remember that area was really good because it was a rundown area, so you could basically get really good food. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, there was this bar that we used to go to around the corner from the hostel that used to give you a 7-inch pizza free with a beer. Now thinking back, I think it was basically they probably increased the price of the pints of beer, but essentially that was a promo. With every pint you could get a pizza. I'm pretty sure that's how it was. You could get like a free pizza. It's like a cheese and tomato one. Oh, and if you wanted toppings, it was $1 each for each topping. Pepperoni, ham, whatever you want on top. So we were getting absolutely smashed in this place. Like, we were just going crazy. That's also the bar that I learned about tipping, because at that point, when I went to New York at that time, I didn't really know about tipping culture. And one of the bartenders there like gave me a fucking, screamed at me like, "Oi, are you guys gonna fucking tip?" Like, scolding me in front of everybody. I felt so embarrassed, but after that day, I never forgot not to tip, So big up that New York bartender. You fucking shook me up. You made me so embarrassed, but you did help me out in the long run. But yeah, man, good times, man. Good times with that crew of guys. We got into a bunch of trouble. We walked around a lot of New York. I remember I actually remember a distinct memory. I remember the girls. I remember the first time, because that's time I was obsessed with fucking. I'm still obsessed with streetwear, but back then I was really obsessed with streetwear, to the point where if I saw a girl wearing Jordans, I might get a boner. So I remember we were going through Central Park or somewhere like that, and we saw this girl wearing like pink Jordan 1s, like crazy good fit, little skirt, print Jordan 1s, a really cool Supreme shirt that she'd probably cut herself and stuff, and whatever. And I remember all of us just like, jaws dropping to the floor, that kind of thing of like being in a new place, being so fucking excited and horny, looking at this girl. Like, obviously no one spoke to her, but everyone just stayed looking, oogling, and then when she walked by, everyone's, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. No, you wouldn't have. She was standing right there. You didn't do jack shit. So that was really fun as well. And of course, the pilgrimage to Supreme. I'm still gonna remember that day, man, because that store's gone now. I think it was a store in Lafayette, but that pilgrimage to that Supreme store was fucking brilliant. To finally see that Supreme store that has got all the TVs, the old school TVs on the window, that was fucking incredible, man. That was fucking incredible. It reminded me of this time back in the day. Actually, I used to be on this forum. I'm not too sure people even know about this forum, but big up Fifth Dimension Forum. I used to be on this forum called Fifth Dimension Forum back in the day, posting fit pics and arguing with people. And thinking back now, I didn't know at the time, but at that time I must have been like 19, 18. And I was literally arguing and having fights with like people in probably their 30s and 40s. That's how ridiculous that scene was back in the day. Those guys were so fucking bitter and miserable when it came to young people. They fucking hated it. They went to keep everything for themselves. They went to keep all the information about neighborhood, double taps, everything about Skate Thing, about VizVim, about Babe, about Supreme. You know what I mean? They went to keep all that shit to themselves. They didn't want to share. So when the kids came in, like myself, they got so fucking pissy. Don't get me wrong. We were also kind of annoying, but I remember being on that forum and that picture of the front of that Supreme store with the TVs on the front, right? I think it's an old school picture. I think it might even feature Aaron Bondaroff, Henry Arnold. I forgot. But there was somebody anyway on that, and I didn't know what the shop was. So I remember writing in the forum, "Oh, what's that? Where's that with the TVs in the front?" And everybody on the forum was clowning me. It became like a running joke. Like they were kind of slightly trying to bully me on this forum. I was like, "What the fuck? This is like I didn't know what it was." I'm asking a question, so it was like a running joke. I didn't know where the shop with the TV was. Shop to the TV. So when I finally found out what it was, because I then became a Supreme fucking fiend and addict. It was quite surreal to finally be in that store and see it. It was also surreal to see all the fucking look. This is back in the day when I used to fucking honestly like wank over Supreme. I knew that brand in and out. I knew who worked there. I knew about the back end, splay, all that sort of shit. I had fucking scans of fucking lookbooks, editorials in fucking Popeye magazine and all this sort of shit. I was going crazy for Supreme. And I remember also being kind of like, this is kind of gay to admit, really, really gay to admit, but please forgive me. I remember kind of being a little bit fucking starstruck when I went in the Supreme store, that old one, right? Because a lot of the fucking guys that were in the lookbook were working in that store. Like, and I was like, I mean, looking at them. I think there's one in particular guy who used to have this brand called Deadline, I think. Was it Deadline? There's a couple of guys. There's like a mixed race dude or light skinned dude with long hair who I remember having a brand called Deadline. There's a white guy who I also remember who used to model for the brand a few times. He was in there, but a bunch of people associated with it. I think at that time we were in there. Nate Lauerman popped in as well. We saw that guy. Who's that guy? What's his name again? The guy that does all the cutout stuff for fucking Supreme. Is it Eddie? Steve? Something? Eddie? I forgot his name in it. We saw him there. We saw the other guy too. I forgot his fucking name as well. The artist. He's got long black hair. He skates, and he also does some stuff for fucking Supreme too. He was in there, so that was a really fucking fun time. So, anyway, all that to say, I'm looking forward to seeing those guys that I went on that holiday with on Sunday. Should be fun to see what they're up to, what life is going like, and everything else in between. Anyways, enough about that. Let's move on to the show. Big up at the stream chat. Big up people in the stream chat. Appreciate you. Big up Absurd. I love what you said the other day. Squeeze 12 months of work into 3 months of the year. I felt that. Let's lock in. Yeah, I'm on it, man. I'm on it right now. I'm on it right now, man. On it like Sonic. I just feel like at the end of the year, when it comes to fucking New Year's Eve, when it comes to all that sort of time, Christmas, I just want to feel like I've earned the right to go a bit crazy and to have a bit of fun, whatever, get loosey goosey, you know, start swimming in some dirty waters and shit. But I want to feel like I've earned it. There hasn't been a time that I've done it so far this year. Everything has been a bit. That's probably why internally I haven't really enjoyed it. It's probably this comes from trauma, but I have this feeling in me like I can never enjoy things when I don't really feel like I really deserve to enjoy them. So sometimes when I was going out, I was kind of going through the motions, but there was a lot of like inner self-flagellation going on. There's a lot of inner scolding going on. I wasn't really proud that I was out doing it. I mean, I didn't really feel like it. So now I want to get back into that flow, because this is how I've always been anyway. I've always been the kind of person that kind of feels like you should be earning your right to enjoy yourself. You should be spending time working, grinding. Then when it feels time to go out and celebrate, you celebrate, but then you get back and look in again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But I kind of indulged myself and let go and got a bit lazy, got a bit fucking comfortable. And in general, it didn't really serve me right anyway, because I didn't enjoy myself when I did go out. The rare times I did go out, the rare times I did get on it on shit, I didn't really feel, it wasn't really good. It wasn't really fun. But now I feel like I'm getting to that place. You get me?